Welcome to the Parkland Report. Joining me in this program, Dr. Tom Caulfield, Director of Student Life at Parkland College. Welcome to the Parkland Report.
Thank you, Seamus.
Tom, you've had some change in your physical location, and you're now located in the new Student Union, or the U building here at Parkland College. Can you tell me a little bit about your new space and what it's like?
We caught an upgrade. Yeah, and I think we calculated out, I think it's 3 to 4 times the square footage, so we couldn't be any happier. We're dancing on the tables over there, room to do all sorts of new things. We're real happy for our student clubs and organizations. They have more space to work with now. And our wellness center was fragmented all over the college, it seemed. Now they have 4 office spaces, and it's really a great space.
Talk a little bit about the definition of student life at Parkland. What are the components of it? I mean, I think sometimes people think students are involved in student government, and that's certainly part of it, but it's bigger than just a student government organization.
It sure is. It involves all of those things that relate to the student's experience here at Parkland. The big one that we're really motivating to connect now is, now that we have the wellness center and the wellness coordinator, and there's a health educator that she works with in that wellness center, we're trying to really make sure that the students understand that they could come to visit that wellness center for all sorts of different things, access to resources in the community, etc. You mentioned student government, Seamus, and clearly, you know, that is one function. Long history here at Parkland. A lot of programming is done by that group. They've been here since the college started, the student government. They have their own office space over there. It's super. We have the student newspaper, which is a laboratory setting. They have an advisor there. Phi Theta Kappa is there as well. So all in all, it really, really feels like a neat college atmosphere in there.
So our students are part of like some sort of traditional sort of components of a student life. They have their own organizational structure. They can decide to charter new organizations. Talk about the process for developing a student organization at Parkland, how that works, and also maybe give us some example of some of the existing organizations.
Okay. Yeah, you know, the big ones that we house are obviously, as an organization, our student government and Phi Theta Kappa, but there's all these clubs and organizations. And as you know, what we know when we do the research is that students involved in clubs and organizations actually do a little bit better academically. So those are our persisters here around the college. To that end, we're motivated as a faculty, staff, administration to really get those going, okay? So they need an advisor, and they need 10 members, and so then they give their bylaws and rules and regs, and they submit it to our activities program manager. Then student government votes on it, and by golly, they're in. You know, funding is quite luxurious because we've raised our fee money a couple of years back, and with that in mind, we're really excited for the clubs and organizations once they form, the new ones especially, because they're used to coming off of a high school experience where they were kind of fighting for money here and there and doing a lot of fundraisers. Well, it's kind of nice. You start out the school year and you got $125 already in the bank.
Sure.
And then you do a couple things and you get midway through the semester and you do some attendance issues and prove that you've done some programs. All of a sudden there's another 125 from the fee money that gets deposited in. So those can be very active, and we love to have those formed.
So what kinds of new emerging sort of organizations and trends have you noticed on our campus in the last couple of years?
You know, the big one for us is the Club Latino. You know, that is a group that is very, very active here. We know the enrollment of our Latina students is growing. That one is just bursting at the seams. In fact, they have a weekly meeting in student life where they've almost basically brought in a few people, and before we knew it, it was 50 members for a little luncheon, and they meet every Thursday down there. Obviously, those are the kind of groups that we're looking to have form. There's also some ones that deal with kind of multicultural issues and things like that that we're real excited about.
So Club Latino actually was an interesting one because it sort of maybe grew out of an enrollment initiative here at Parkland College, a way to provide more outreach to what is the fastest growing population in our county, in Champaign.
Yeah.
So that's a good example of a way in which it dovetails nicely with our academic needs, our enrollment needs, and our student service.
It sure did, and I appreciate you mentioning it in the way you did, how it's kind of framed together, but clearly we've just actually done a midterm grade check on our folks in Club Latino and whatnot, and we were real curious about the persistence and how they'd be getting along with some intervention, mentoring, and stuff like that. The truth is, we were 80% of that population above a 2.0 at the midterm. So that's real exciting for us. We're studying 60 individuals this semester.
So we both know that emerging in the community college world right now is a huge focus on peer mentoring, on peer advising, on peer sort of structures which support our students, especially on a commuter campus and a community college setting. That's got to have a very positive effect on our student body as we see it with these groups.
Well, I think it does. We're taking 30 students, Seamus, to a leadership conference this weekend. What we're hoping to do is get them plugged into various sessions on educational programs, on mentoring and whatnot. And what we want to do is bring them back and then get them into the pipeline where they develop their own mentoring relationships with others here at the college. One of the things is announcing a position, say, for a mentor through a group or organization. And what we know is the natural leaders emerge. What we're hoping is to take some other people and then have some of those other people that might not be inclined to step forward, but we get them into an educational conference environment and they say, hey, that's kind of neat. I think I could do that. When they flip back over here, we're going to try to tap them.
So we know that benefits for the students who are participating in terms of their own personal benefit, but there's also an outreach component of these organizations on campus, not just to outreach within our own community, but also working with our community at large. Talk a little bit about some of the voluntary work that folks are doing and connecting.
Well, you know, first thing when we landed with the food pantry here at Parkland, the volunteer pipeline started to go that way almost immediately. And we were excited about that because that's kind of housed here. It's something the community knows is here, and it really helps our students. So that would be the classic example. Right now, we're in the tentative stages of our alternative spring break plans. We plan that far ahead, and we're hoping to get 3 or 4 organizations all pointed in the same directions to do that outreach work.
So we know that this becomes then in turn a self-fulfilling prophecy because a strong student life organization, a strong student involvement is going to be attractive for other students and then hopefully gets more people into that network, keeps them here longer.
We're feeling that. In fact, one of the things we know, it's kind of kooky, is when the students are done here with us and they get over in some other places, they kind of come back to us and they say, yeah, it's really not the same. And I say, oh, you're meeting a lot of people like yourself. I try to diffuse it, you know, and say,
sure,
just get along and you'll be okay over there. But I think they get that, you know, involved experience here and they get to know some people and they kind of miss it. And so that's very flattering to us.
And, you know, our students who get involved and are very successful in organizations and groups here on campus, particularly in student government, that really helps in terms of building a resume and a portfolio as they begin the transition to the next stage of their education.
One of the documents that we've experimented with, and this seems to be working well, is called a developmental record document. And what that is what we ask the students in clubs and organizations and whatnot to actually begin to list their items that they've been involved in, whether it be volunteerism or maybe work in the community, or, you know, they're an officer. And that's taken to a person in our office, and then we put that on a grid and we connect it up with a developmental sequence where it basically lists what that taught them, okay? And then I look it over at the end when we print it out and I sign off on it. It's all on Parkland letterhead. That accompanies their transcript to whatever level they're going to. It might be a job or it might be a transfer situation. Now, the reason that's important, we think, is because many students will try to bury those experiences in a cover letter. And you and I both know in administration, those can be scanned very quickly and maybe not paid attention to. But when you see it in bullet point order and connecting it with a skill that they were trying to learn, it makes a lot of sense to the employers and the folks that work in administrations on the transfer level. I actually heard comments back when they call me about a reference to say, hey, you know, this is a pretty strong document and we're excited to take a look at so-and-so.
We also know, like, you know, Parkland's a very flat organization, and we have lots of our students that are involved in organizations that are not student-led organizations. I know I have some students who are visiting our Sustainable Campus Committee. Our students, as part of the organizations or not part of the organizations, really get an opportunity to participate in the governance of the campus at large. I'm thinking at PCA, where we have student representation and various other units within the campus structure?
Yeah, in student government, that's a natural. We have two Parkland College reps at the PCA, as you mentioned. They also are on the Sustainable Committee, and they also are on things like campus concerns. They also serve on the editorial board for the college newspaper, things like that. What we tell them, honestly, is get involved in those things. I mean, it's actually as part of student government. Sure. But to that end, we say that's how you network with the faculty. You may know me and you may know a couple others, but by spreading it out a little bit and making yourself available to some other groups, you'll meet more people.
Have you noticed an uptick in the numbers of people congregating, hanging around student life, dropping in with the wellness center to get oriented?
We have. I think they were shocked at first, just how big we were. Sure. Compared to what we used to be. And, and honestly, the whole place is big, so yeah, we're excited about it. And yeah, it's just an amazing place, full of color. Light comes in really nicely. Students are having lunch down there. Yeah, it's really exciting.
Great place for Parkland students to be, and thank you so much for being here with us today at the Parkland Report.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this short break.
Working North on you.
Get the ball rolling to a new career with an Eastern Illinois University degree at Parkland College.
Parkland and Eastern really made it work for me.
Now I'm taking Eastern classes on Parkland's campus.
I'm working on my bachelor's degree from Eastern without commuting.
Thanks to Parkland and Eastern, I'm reaching my goals.
For more on Eastern at Parkland, call 217-351-2543.
Well, it's a great program. It helps first-year Latino students that are both non-traditional and traditional students just come to Parkland. It really helps them get a sense of Parkland as a whole.
I am a mentor, so I have a few students, Parkland students, that I get a hold of throughout the week. I see how they're doing, and if they need any help with anything, it doesn't just have to be school. It could be, I have established personal relationships with them, so it could be anything that they need to talk to me about.
I know that I have someone that's there to kind of like answer questions for me, that if I don't know, kind of help me understand all the resources that are out there, especially at Parkland. Starting school for the first time, I was a little nervous, a little shy, so knowing that I had a mentor that actually like been through this, been there, done that, it actually made it a little easier.
We help them get a sense of who they are and try to help them out with mentoring them and helping them more as I don't see it as a mentoring thing, I see it more as a partnership, friendship. You get to really be friends, befriend all these mentees and show them around, show them the ins and outs of Parkland.
He would text me, email me, and then every once in a while he'd call and just, and then I think last semester, every once in a while we'd meet up, and then he'd ask me how I was doing and like if I had any concerns, and he actually gave me a lot of great advice because I told him how I really don't know how to like separate my time studying between classes, so I would just spend countless hours studying something and then I just lose my mind because everything wouldn't stick. So he told me, he's like, split it up between time slots, half an hour at most, and then take a 15-minute break, decompress, watch a little TV, and then he said the best time to study is before you go to sleep. It's so that when you sleep, you actually retain more of the knowledge. So that actually helped me a lot.
There's a couple that I hang out with on a daily basis, which is great. I mean, we've become really good friends. We talk. I see them around school. We say hi. It's nice. It's nice for them to have someone to like talk to, and it's also nice for me to have new friends.
It's really a great experience because most of these mentees are non-traditional, traditional students, but it really gives me a sense of pride in the Latino community because these are students that are first-year students really wanting to get a kickstart to their college education, and whatever I can do to help them, I'm more than glad at doing it.
The semester I was offered to be an actual mentor. So, that's pretty cool. I mean, considering that, it's only been one semester for me, but the fact that it can be kind of pass on a little bit of what I've learned and experienced so far to new students who could use the help, it's pretty cool.
Welcome back to the Parkland Report. Joining me now, some students from Student Life. I have Jenny Olmsted, AJ Kreska, and I beg your pardon, Alexis Kreska and AJ Jimenez. Welcome to the Parkland Report.
Thank you for having us.
Alrighty, great. Jenny, tell us about what you are doing in Student Life. What clubs are you involved with?
Well, I am involved in Phi Theta Kappa, which is the largest, most prestigious international honor society of the two-year college. And their main goal is just to help with student success. And we have headquarters in Alabama, which they put on conferences that you can travel to, leadership development courses. It's a great organization. I'm glad to be a part of it.
Alexis, what about you? What organizations are you a part of here in Student Life?
I'm involved with PUSH, Phi Theta Kappa also, and I'm a member of Business Club too.
What is PUSH?
PUSH is Parkland United for Student Health, and it is it's geared towards living a healthy lifestyle, and that includes social health, physical health, emotional health, everything.
Very good. AJ, what about you? What organizations are you a part of?
I'm part of Club Latino, and I'm also a mentor for the Comadre Compadre program here at Parkland. It's a new program that they just started up this year, and we help first-year Latino Hispanic students maintain retention rates at Parkland.
So what kinds of things do you do in that Compadre organization to help students?
Well, first they did all of the matching with mentee to mentor relationships. They did the matching on self-reported, if you reported being Hispanic or Latino upon the SOAR orientation. Then they matched those students up with mentors, and when you were mentor, it's not just with classes, it's also scheduling. A lot of the stuff that we do is just trying to help them feel like they're a part of Parkland and really get to know Parkland, things they could do at Parkland, not just be students and just come to Parkland and be students. There's a lot more to the Parkland than just being a student.
So did you know about Club Latino before you came here, or were you recruited when you got here, or how did you find out about it?
I started Parkland with dual credits my junior year of high school. And Charles Lorano, as a professor here, was all about Club Latino, and he was like, AJ, you gotta join once you go to Parkland. And I was originally gonna go to University of Florida, and I was all about Florida because I grew up there. And Charles was like, you should try a small community college, and I liked the whole class student to teacher ratio, so I came here. And he was my first 2 semesters. I didn't go to Club Latino until I started realizing that really being a part of a club, like, it means a lot to as a student. It means a lot to be part of something. And I started going and I liked it, and now I go every Thursday. So
do you find yourself now out looking for other Latino students and recruiting them in and telling them about the benefits of it?
Yeah, it's a great thing because it's hit me a lot going to middle schools around in District 4 and in Urbana, going to middle school, students that didn't see college as an opportunity. Now I feel like I've been able to touch a lot of students and let them know, like, college was really an opportunity, whatever background you come from. It's a huge opportunity.
Excellent. So Alexis, now what was your interest in PUSH and getting involved in that particular club?
Well, I started getting involved during the summer. I went to the Wellness Center and I asked if she needed help with anything. And I got flyers, and I just started passing them out during the summer, during summer classes. And then towards the end of the summer, I was like, hey, June, do you guys have a president? And she said no, and I said, can I be the president? And then she clapped her hands, and she was like, yay, you're president. So that's kind of how I got to be part of that club, and I just really like everything that it stands for.
So is it connected to your major or what you would like to do in your future?
Well, I just got into the nursing program, but I guess it's kind of towards nursing, but I guess pushes more of a public health group than a just overall health group, if that makes sense.
Sure.
But yeah, I guess it could be. I mean, I'd like to write research articles later on or health articles later, but that's probably like when I retire.
What kinds of activities does the organization do?
We go to the farmers market a lot. We try to go every Saturday. We had, for the pumpkin carving contest that we had last month for Halloween, we had group members come to my house and we carved a pumpkin. And the most recent thing that we have going on is the coat drive. I don't know if you saw the big orange boxes, but yeah, we're organizing the coat drive, and that's going to Salt and Light. It's semi-health related because cold people will get a cold.
So, you know, one of the things, it's a two-part thing, right? Like most of our organizations, one is that to benefit the students. So like learning more about health and your own health and wellness is very important for students' own personal lives, but also a way to connect them to the community and what goes on in the community. Yeah. So how do you get students, or how do you pick organizational goals for the community outreach?
Well, with the coat drive, I just saw that it was getting really cold out, and my daughter was cold and she wouldn't put her jacket on, and I thought about all the people who don't have coats, and I thought, hey, we should put on a coat drive. For other things that we're going to be doing, I was thinking about school supplies, just anything that will benefit the community in the future. I just randomly think of stuff when I should be studying usually.
Yeah. So Jenny, how did you find out about PTK?
Well, my brother was actually in it,
okay,
and he actually transferred to the U of I and went into their honor society. So if you're in this honor society at community college, it's easier to transfer to a four-year college and get into their honor society. And as well as it's invite only, so I got an invitation my first semester at Parkland because I did dual credit like AJ. And I was like, okay, why not? Because my brother was a part of it. And I really just utilized Phi Theta Kappa originally for volunteer opportunities. And so I was just using that to like get in the community, help out. And then in the spring semester, Phi Theta Kappa actually hosts an international conference where students from all over the world actually come, have leadership development courses, listen to great speakers. And that really opened my eyes to, this is a great organization. They're just trying to help out the world all that they can. We have two main projects called College Project and Honors in Action, which really get chapters involved, engaged into our communities just to make it better. So it's just, I want to align my goals with Phi Theta Kappa goals.
So what kind of community projects have you personally been involved with?
Well, the Wesley Food Pantry here at Parkland is a main one. We also help with Scholastic Bowl and their regional competition. We also have walks such as Relay for Life and such like that. And we also, I want to actually organize a litter cleanup, or I was a part of, what was it called? Boneyard Creek Community Day.
Yes.
And that's where you just go out in the community, pick up trash, and like you meet great people. I was like, okay, well we should do this since students, I see students putting their trash outside their cars in the morning because it's their breakfast and they're too lazy to go to the trash can 5 meters away. So I really want to utilize Phi Theta Kappa to put on a event to promotion and stuff like that to help.
Sure.
Yeah.
How has being involved in a student life organization helped you to meet other students at the college?
It's great because once I wasn't really involved and now I am, I didn't know the people, such great people, were at Parkland, because you think community colleges are, oh, okay, they can't get into four-year universities, blah, 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 so they're not that great, but there are some great people here. There are like so many great ideas, so many great minds, and I feel like student organizations actually bring all those people together so we can actually make a difference. So I feel like student life is a community inside a community, and it's just great. I don't know how to put into words.
Alexis, what about, how have you enjoyed the new student union building and the student life area? Has that made a difference in terms of attracting more students into the clubs and organizations there?
I think so. I think on top of having other students that aren't actually part of student organizations come over there, and you can give them a flyer and say, hey, join my group. You have other people who are already in student organizations come over, and you can network a little bit easier than before when we had offices scattered all throughout the building, different wings, different offices. It was hard to get in touch with everyone. So I think that that's really helped, and it gets crowded during lunchtime, which is a really good time to hand out flyers.
Do you find yourself surprised by what other students are doing on campus and other organizations, or did you think you kind of have a good handle on everything that's going on here?
Sometimes. It depends on the school load when I'm paying more attention to which either school or organizations, but usually I have a pretty good idea of what's going on, especially now that we are planning on writing stuff on our big new whiteboard, so I think that will help with communication also.
So AJ, for you going ahead now in your career academically, do you think this is some activity that you will persist with and when you transfer to another school?
Yes, sir. The biggest thing that I've brought from Club Latino and being a mentor is being able to help people, because I'm a first-year generation student, and just seeing how many people I've been able to help and with student life is amazing, and I want to take it on, not just Parkland. I've told Tom Caulfield before that I don't want to leave it here at Parkland. I want to leave a legacy here, but I want to move on to wherever it is I move on, where I have an opportunity to study, that I could continue there and help other students, make it a possibility for them to go to college as well.
So for the rest of you, same thing? What do you think? You're going to continue joining clubs and organizations when you transfer for your school?
Oh, definitely. I want to actually be a part of the Honor Society at the four-year institution, and Phi Theta Kappa will get me into the college I want. And if you have leadership positions in Phi Theta Kappa at the regional level or at the international level, that will escalate you among the average person, such as Ivy League colleges are recruiting Phi Theta Kappa members just because they notice that community college students perform better if they go to a community college before a four-year institution. So data is actually proving that going to community college, being involved, does help you along the journey.
And Alexis, do you think there's a direct connection between your club organization membership here at Parkland and your future career?
Yeah. Definitely. I think if I hadn't joined any of the clubs that I'm in now, I would be struggling a lot more in school, and it just really motivates me to get on to finish an associate's and then on to a bachelor's and then a master's. It really motivates me to do that.
Excellent. Well, thank you, all three of you, for being here on Parkland Report. I wish you the very best of luck and good luck with recruiting new members for our student life organizations here at Parkland College.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it for this edition of Parkland Report. We'll see you back here next time.